Thank you to Jen and Leila and Dora for organizing this amazing collective of authors, of storytellers, of people. Lyric Eye has been incredibly special because I began teaching Republic Feminism in Times of Crisis, I think as soon as it was published, probably. And it asked the question in the beginning, what does it mean and what does it cost for women to want to be visible? And that, for those of us who identify as women at any point in our lives, recognize that that is a very profound question. So that is something that we engage with in the classroom. And so when you presented that we were going to do this collective Lyric Eye and a call for papers, immediately I began thinking about that collective as it shows up for women, and the idea of the grandmother and our own granny. My first cousin, Mark, is here, Dr. Mark Melton, today, and we call our grandmother affectionately Granny. And I think about so many grandmothers, whether or not you've known them or whether or not it's people like in your story that have been a mother hen to others, whether it's abuela, granny, nana, bubby, baba, auntie, waupo. It's so many ways that we identify that grandmother figure and the wisdom that lives on. And in this moment, in our social political crisis / history / experience, I think we're all called to think about and draw from the wisdom and the spirit of those who have gone before us and the tools that they have also shared with us about how to overcome the levels of oppression that they all, no matter what their identities were around the world, experienced as we're moving through this moment as the first day of Black History Month and in this first year of 2025. So when it comes to the collective Lyric Eye as well, and sort of the various art forms, there's a photo on the first part of that infographic of a small quilt that I had the privilege of co-creating, really, in my first internship in graduate school with other mother hens, as you would say, who were teaching me quilting, because I had not had the experience of being able to see my own grandmother in person. She lived in North Carolina, and we would write letters to each other all the time. So I don't think I met her until I was about 9 years old, but we had written letters over the years, and I still have many of those letters. And I was sharing that based on your talk last night with my cousin Mark, who was here, who did not know that. So thank you for just invoking that spirit of writing and stationery and the feel of the pens, in our hands. And so I created this quilt with the women at my internship experience, and then when it came to the binding, to finish the edges, and also the quilting technique is actually the design that you put forth and the stitching on top. I carried that piece. My mother, who was alive at the time, took me to buy Ankara fabric, of which I'm representing today, and took it to North Carolina and was able to finish the binding with my grandmother, and just the feel of her hands and experiencing that with her is probably the last time that she was, that I experienced her living and able to engage in that way. So it was very special to me to have that quilt engaged, and that was sort of the inspiration for writing the piece. Grown from the earth, my roots extend across the oceanic expanse, winding and deep with the nourishments of many lands emerging from one. Lyric Eye be we. Natural beauty, walnut pigmented and rigid, patterned and protected. Woolen locks gifted, framing face freckled with ancestral kisses, poignant and pretty with almond eyes impassioned. Nose leading the spirit to tribal ancestors that direct the path. The rhythm of the djembe pulses through my veins as my calabash body is adorned in cowrie shells from the weft of shores from whence we came. I am the evolution of culture, the embodiment of collective customs and artistic expression, cultivated in our Kebulon and transcendent through time. Our song sings joy, sorrow, and promise. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. Psalms 30, verse 5. Weeping like the willow, my eyes sting with the beads of blood, staining soil and urban concrete. My tears ripple and wave like the Atlantic as she swallowed liquid rubies into her belly. Indigenous hands harrowed in soil nourishing generations to come. Seeds plentiful as corn, hidden beneath verdant husks. Lyric eye, be we, hearing story of regal splendor harmed by human hands. Lyric eye, be we, emoting dance and jubilee suppressed litigiously. Lyric eye, be we, acknowledging greatness amid omissive institutions. Lyric eye, be we, loving abundantly and intergenerationally. Lyric eye, be we, Heal. Gifted griots share stories of our ancestral angels who whisper wisdom in the breeze of the native pecan trees. My gifted griot is Granny, whose wise words heal. Lyric eye, be we, honoring Granny. I am known as Granny among many children. I always took the time with children's children that are not in the family, and everyone calls me Granny. Athena Hargrove, I remember. Through our gifted griots, we hear history, sharing stories of life from love to languish, and the grace, poise, power, and fortitude necessary to overcome. Taking the time and care with children's children that are not in the family is the power and essence of the collective experience. The intentionality to build a strong foundation with love and community that will withstand a multitude of generations is the message of milk and honey needed to comfort and sustain us. The wisdom in the breeze encourages to take time, share time, and honor time with our children. Our time is presented as a valuable asset, and we are often inclined to feel that we must hoard the gift that it yields. May we be inspired to share time in efforts to transcend it. I enjoyed so much working with the people. Anyone that would come to my house wanting to know how to make anything, I would take the time out to help. Later, we began to make quilts, which was very good. We would put in a quilt and work on it every time we met. It would sometimes take a month, but when we finished, it was beautiful. Athena Hargrove, I remember. Through our gifted griots, we emote freely. Opening our heart and our space to others allows us to cultivate community with creativity. Many hands bringing scraps of fabric worn and weathered by daily life and ushered into new glory through cutting to establish symmetry. Colors, textures, caressed by fingers, profoundly adorned and accustomed to work. Fabric gently kisses hands needing connection and comfort from thorny brush, scalding pots, and tear-stained faces. Granny's gingered hands clasped mine to teach me quilting while sharing life lessons that intertwine the knowledge of those who came before her and will inform future generations. I am a woman evolving. I am a cozy quilt, patched together with vibrant and textured fabrics that tell a story of heritage. A quilt with history as a tree rooted in Africa, with branches extending to America through the land of the Cherokee and Lenape people. I invite patterns radiating the verdancy of the motherland, celebrating indigenous grounding, and coloring cosmopolitan culture. And all the women who were wise-hearted did spin with their hands and brought that which they had spun, both of blue and of purple and of scarlet and of fine linen, and all the women whose heart stirred up in them wisdom spun goat's hair. Exodus chapter 35, verses 25 through 26. Through our gifted griots, we acknowledge each other, embracing our challenges and triumphs. We acknowledge the pain that is endured, yet with purpose to be revealed. We acknowledge the power of hands presenting the heart's gifts. Granny's wise-hearted hands held the collective mastery of community craft, and yet weavers, like quilters, have often produced their work in community, public feminism in times of crisis. In our collective, we embody L-O-V-E, love. We weave together stories of challenge and triumph, the darkness of pain, yet festooned with the vibrancy of joy. A patchwork of patterns, textures, sizes, colors, fastened together with threads of love and cords of care. I am a quilter. I am a community cultivator, and the community cultivates me. Lyric I, be we, H-E-A-L, heal. On our journey, we are healing. Healing our hearts from the pernicious piercing that denigrates us. Healing our minds from the lies that separate us from our creative expression. Healing our spirits from the separation of our ancestral guidance. Healing our bodies from the insult that breaks our backs, haunts our hair, and festers in our faces. Lyric I, be we, hearing our history, emoting, acknowledging the harm, and loving ourselves unconditionally with the guidance and wisdom of our ancestors' inspiration. Yours in service and L-O-V-E love. Love, Pia J. Hargrove.